Hello, and welcome to the third episode of the PharmD Diaries. I'm Angelica.
I'm Iman.
And I'm Katie.
And today, we're going to discuss all things CV. CV is short for Curriculum Vitae and is like a resume, but a full picture of all the things done in your pharmacy school career. CVs serve as a different purpose and have their own format.
For the length and format, resumes are typically shorter and limited to 1 or 2 pages, with sections such as contact information, summary, work experience, education, and skills, whereas CVs are more comprehensive and can be several pages long. Length is dependent on how involved you are, including employment history, participating in publications or presentations, and leadership opportunities.
And the purposes of each, as mentioned, differ. Resumes are commonly used for job applications in most industries. They emphasize relevant work experience, skills, and accomplishments that are tailored to a specific job or industry. CVs, on the other hand, are more common in academic, research, and scientific fields and focus on your full academic and professional history. So both of these can serve as tools for applications and have their own variances. However, in the world of pharmacy, CVs are what's mainly used over a traditional resume, so we are going to focus this episode on CVs. You may be asking yourself, okay, what section should I include in my CV? As you may have picked up on, tackling your CV can be kind of a beast. It is a large undertaking, so we definitely recommend starting it sooner rather than later. How I approached deciding on sections was Googling tips and hints for building a CV. And I found that ASHP and ACCP had some great tips and toolkits for what to do and not do in a CV. I found that the order of sections may vary, but you can include strong sections based on your experience and future career interests. However, all CVs start with personal information.
Your personal information should be limited to name, current address, phone number, and email address. You want to avoid using casual email addresses like partygirl123@gmail.com. Try to include an email that has just your name and avoid excessive numbers and symbols.
For your education section, you want to include your degree, the university you attended, and the years you attended. If you haven't graduated yet, you want to include the year that you anticipate to graduate. And for education, if you have multiple degrees, you want to put your most recent degree first. And this applies to other sections of your CV as well.
Next, you could include your employment history, usually called professional experience. You want to include your job title, location, and supervisor name. Include only employment experience that is connected to your academic work, interest, and development. For example, I would include my past experience as a pharmacy technician trainee at an independent community pharmacy and my current experience as an intern at a big chain community pharmacy.
Another area you can include is licenses and certifications. This includes all professional licenses, whether technician or intern, such as basic life support, immunization, or sterile compounding. Make sure to list the date of training or expiration date of the certificate.
For research experience, if you have served as a research assistant in any capacity, this would be an appropriate section to add. Depending on your field and experience, you may choose to detail the names of labs you've worked in, the names of PIs you've worked under, and the title of projects you've worked on and the nature of your contributions. It is important to use vocabulary here that is familiar to the person reading your CV.
The sources also recommended including sections for your clinical rotation experiences. You can break them up into 2 sections, one for your introductory pharmacy practice experiences, or IPEs, and another one for your advanced pharmacy practice experience, or APPEs. Under your IPE section, you'll want to include the type of IPE that it was, the location, and the name of your preceptor. Under your APPE section, you also want to include those things, but you may also want to include bullet points under each that summarizes succinctly the key takeaways that you'd like to highlight from each rotation. Next, you could have a section for presentations. This can be a poster presentation at a conference or seminar, a journal club, or a presentation you did on a rotation. This is a way to showcase your knowledge and illustrate that you can communicate effectively.
Media presence is another way to stand out. You may not have this section on your CV, but it is something you can add. This can be your LinkedIn that highlights a snapshot of what you're doing and a great way to connect with other professionals. It can also include if you've been a guest or have made your own podcast. Shout out PharmD Diaries. Lastly, you could also include any experience you have with social media management.
An important factor in your CVs, and something a residency program will definitely look for, will be showcasing your leadership experience. Some of the online guides tell you to include this under professional membership or a professional affiliation section. This is where you can put all the groups or organizations you're a part of, but remember to not use abbreviations until you have defined the orgs you're a part of in this section. If applicable, you could include organizational leadership experience. However, when I sat down with one of our professors, Dr. Brittany Torres, to have her proofread my CV, she told me that if you have a lot of leadership you'd like to showcase, you can make that its own section. The goal is to show potential employers how your experience can positively contribute to their organization. You can include things like holding an officer position or organizing events. These don't have to be school-related roles, so any experience you have with leadership pertaining to your professional career should go there as well. If this is the layout you choose to follow, the next section could be other professional affiliations. That include student professional organizations that you're a member of but do not have leadership experience in.
Community service can be anything you want it to be. This could be anything like volunteering at a food bank, immunization clinic, or donation services. This is an opportunity to share what you care about. Sometimes, towards the end, there is an awards and honors section where you can include things like making the dean's list, winning a professional competition, or receiving a scholarship.
And to wrap it all up, here are some quick do's and don'ts that you should consider applying or not applying to your CVs.
Do have a professor or peer look at your CV and they can tell you what things you need to work on.
Don't have long chunks of text or paragraphs. Use concise bullet points.
Do include relevant information. This is your opportunity to showcase yourself.
Don't use unprofessional fonts or formatting.
Do update it regularly. It can be a challenge to do all at once.
Don't lie or include something you couldn't talk about in an interview. The people who are interviewing you will look at your CV and they will ask questions about it and be able to tell if it's exaggerated or fabricated.
If you would like to hear more about our experiences developing each of these sections in our CVs, please tune in to our later episodes. We will explore topics like organizations we are involved in, research experience, and post-grad opportunities.
And that's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you to our listeners for tuning in. If you enjoyed our journey through the pharmacy student experience, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your support means the world to us. If you have any questions, topics you'd like us to cover, or if you want to share your own PharmD story, feel free to reach out via email at diariespharmd@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook at PharmD Diaries Podcast. Remember, you are not alone on this journey, so take care, study hard, and keep chasing your pharmacy dreams.
Bye.